Hi, welcome to Bookie. Today we will unlock the book No Future Without Forgiveness. First, let's start with a short story. A group of Nazi soldiers once surrounded several Jews, shut them up in a building and set the building on fire. Years later, one of the arsonists sought to ease his guilt by asking for forgiveness from the Jewish victims' families. What do you think the families of the victims would do? In reality, people are often unwilling to see criminals get away with their crimes, preferring to take an eye for an eye. Personal grudges are hard to let go, and racial persecution is even harder to forgive. In 1994, for example, there was an appalling genocide in Rwanda, in which at least 500,000 people died. The whole country fell into a cycle of revenge killings, which made the already impoverished nation less stable and pushed the economy to the brink of collapse. How did South Africa, which also suffered from severe racial persecution, achieve racial reconciliation under its government's leadership? This book, No Future Without Forgiveness, details the process of racial reconciliation in South Africa. This stirring book records not only the appalling events of racial persecution, but also the great minds of South Africa's native people. What is even more gratifying is that the nation's persecuted people have obtained their own redemption through forgiveness, which has in a spiritual sense set them free. Desmond Tutu, the author of this book, has made great contributions to peace in South Africa. He has been widely known as South Africa's moral conscience for his non-violent opposition to apartheid. Tutu was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1984, and in 1986, he was elected the first black archbishop of Cape Town. He served as chairman of South Africa's Truth and Reconciliation Commission from 1996 to 1999 and witnessed the process of racial reconciliation in South Africa. After writing No Future Without Forgiveness, Tutu also wrote the Book of Forgiving, The Fourfold Path for Healing Ourselves and Our World, a transformative book of recovery that explores how to heal the trauma of apartheid and the loss of loved ones. You can also find a Bookie of that book on our platform. In this Bookie, we will explain in 3 parts how the South African government at a turning point in its history facilitated racial reconciliation and ushered in a new future. Part 1, The Origins of South Africa's Racial Reconciliation. Part 2, New South Africa opts for a third way. Part 3, The Truth and Reconciliation Commission's Historic Mission. April 27, 1994, a turning point in South Africa's history marked the country's first multiracial general elections, where black South Africans were finally able to vote. The voting lines were made up of white people, black people, people of Indian descent, and other people of color. This type of scene had not been witnessed in the preceding decades. To see the importance of this multiracial election, we must look at South Africa's early history. Starting in 1948, South Africa's apartheid government went on a legislative frenzy, banning interracial marriage and reserving certain occupations for whites only. They also forcibly removed black people from their native areas, placing them into Bantustan settlements with terrible living conditions. 3.5 million black people were forced by the white minority to leave their hometowns, often by inhumane methods. For example, the infamous pass laws and influx control regulations stated that all black people over the age of 16 had to carry a pass. If the police found a black person without a pass, they could be put in jail. Also, when black people entered a city, regardless of their age or gender, they had to strip down and stand in long lines so that the police could check them. The whole apartheid system in South Africa was about depriving black people of their self-worth and destroying their dignity. In a related Bookie Born a Crime, Stories from a South African Childhood, we have previously discussed South African-born Trevor Noah's similar experiences under apartheid. A similar story of the struggles of blacks under apartheid comes from Pius Longa, who became the deputy president of South Africa's Constitutional Court. He recalled that when he was 17 he was high-spirited and full of hope about the future. However, his optimism